Did you know the United States of America is currently over $30 trillion in debt? Did you know that America spends most of its money on social programs such as Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid? Did you know that America only spends a small portion of its budget on defense programs? If you are not aware of all this, then stay tuned, because in this video, we're going to explore why the U.S. national debt is so high. To start this video off, we need to define what the national debt actually is. It's fairly simple, to say the least. The national debt is the grand total the United States owes to its creditors throughout the years. When the United States spends more money than revenue it brings in every year, it creates a budget deficit. The opposite of a budget deficit is a budget surplus. This happens when the United States brings in more revenue than it spends every year. The last time the U.S. was in the budget surplus was during the Clinton administration through the years 1998 to 2001. During the fiscal year 2000, the surplus reached its highest of $236.2 billion. And just for the record, at the time of this recording, we are in a deficit of over $475 billion for the current fiscal year. Will we ever get back to the glory years of a budget surplus? Who knows? But let's explore the reasons why the national debt is so ridiculously high. Now that we have explained what the national debt is, let's dive into the major contributors of the debt. The amount of spending the U.S. government does yearly is mind-blowing, to say the least, and the programs America spends most of its money on might surprise you. To begin, the major contributor to the national debt is spending money on entitlement programs. According to the Congressional Budget Office, an entitlement program is a legal obligation of the federal government to make payments to a person, group of people, business, unit of government, or similar entity that meets the eligibility criteria set in law for which the budget authority is not provided in advance in an appropriation act. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and other programs such as unemployment benefits, welfare, food stamps, federal pensions, etc. fall under entitlement programs and account for the majority of the federal debt. Defense and non-defense spending such as education, transportation, public health, and science take up the least amount of the budget. Therefore, the U.S. does not allocate a lot of money to these programs. I must also add that the response to the COVID-19 pandemic is another factor in the increase of the national debt. The U.S. government spent roughly $3.5 trillion to address the pandemic. But that's another video for another time. Now I know what you must be thinking. Shouldn't we spend more money on our military and defense so we can have the most state-of-the-art weapons, equipment, and technology to defend against any attack on the United States of America? Well, that's a good question. The main reason why we spend more on entitlement programs such as Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid is that we have an aging population. Or simply put, people are living much longer than in years past. So since more Americans are living longer, the more the U.S. government has to pay out in Social Security payments. And to add to this, since this segment of the population is living longer, healthcare costs are rising also. So therefore, we have to spend more money on entitlement programs to take care of our aging population and not throw them by the wayside as soon as they get to a certain age. In 2021, entitlement programs accounted for well over 50% of the federal budget, while the rest of the budget is divided up into defense and discretionary spending such as education, science, transportation, housing, etc. So, that is why the Department of Defense is left with a small piece of the budget. So, you might be wondering, can we ever default on our current $30 trillion of debt? Let's get into this right now. The United States government has never defaulted on its debt due to Congress continuously raising the debt limit. According to whitehouse.gov, the debt limit is a ceiling imposed by Congress on the amount of debt that the U.S. federal government can have outstanding. If Congress does not raise the debt limit, America can suffer severe consequences. For one, we would suffer a total economic collapse that will totally annihilate our economy and take years to recover from. Americans would lose access to credit, the dollar would lose its value, federal government workers would not be paid, people would not receive their Social Security payments, Public programs such as welfare would stop getting funded, the stock market would completely crash, and these are just a few bad things that would happen. Trust me, it won't be pretty. So with that being said, as long as Congress continues to raise the debt limit, we will never default on our debt. But never say never. In conclusion, it does not seem as if America will be paying off its debt anytime soon unless the government implements drastic measures to collect more revenue. But as long as Congress continues to raise the debt limit, we will be in the clear. But the day is going to come when America is going to have to stop kicking the can down the road and pay up. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video and if you learned something, please like, leave a comment, and please subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'll be making more of these videos relating to the economy and what's going on in the world. So if you really like this video, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.